Tonight's discussion in facing the lion is always positive. And so I ask you today, as we are going to be facing our lions or challenges of the week, what did you face this week that was challenging to you?
Well, good morning. Top of the morning to you. It is finally Friday. And guess what? As you already know, it is my favorite day of the week. Why? Because facing the lions is the same as facing our challenges. And so today we're going to be talking about facing our lions in love. That's our topic for today. Inspired by this thought, loving yourself is to know yourself. You must learn to like yourself before you are taught to love yourself. Good morning, Trish.
Good morning.
Happy, finally, Friday. And welcome as my co-host, always appreciating your work. Today's question of the week is what, Trish?
Today's question is, who do you love?
Who do you love? What does that have to do with facing our challenges? I stopped for a moment to let you think about that. Because our challenges come with learning and being taught to like and love ourselves. You know, many of us are so bent on loving others, and that's good. But we love others in place of first loving ourselves. We learn from a very young age how to view ourselves. But now I say to you, if you don't love yourself, who can love you better than any human? Now, for those of us who are not spiritual people, we don't look to God for God's love. But I want to tell you something about God's love. God is love. The personification is Jehovah's love toward us. In case you didn't know that. I appreciate that. But now, for Him to love us, we must be something very special. For Him to have thought of us. Can you grasp that? You really don't have to be a spiritual person to understand God's love, because you see it through His creation. When was the last time that you saw God's love through creation? There's no denying it. Lions. We're all familiar with lions, their strength, their ability to let you know that they truly are present by their roar. We go a little deeper and we find out that lions are very crafty in the way they're going to approach their prey. P-R-E-Y. Now what about you? How have you been challenged to love yourself? Or have you? Good morning, hollow soul. Good morning, good morning. And Trish, what would you like to say this morning regarding where they can find us? Please and thank you.
You can find us on Facebook, Vibe-Talk. We also have a direct connect, 661-503-8993. Voicemail and text message, and we have a YouTube channel, Vibe-Talk, all caps.
Okay. So we're going to be talking about who do you love and asking the question why. But first, on our finally Friday Facing the Lions episode of our podcast, I'm thankful for life, water, something to wear, and I'm thankful for the existence of being here. Robinson, good morning. That's my last name, by the way. Robinson. Where are you listening in from? What state are you listening in from? And thank you for joining us on Finally Friday. California. I'm in Southern California. Who do you love and why? That's our question of the day. Who do you love and why? This is going to be an interesting topic as we talk about learning to love ourselves or like ourselves and being taught to love ourselves. Your wife. Thank you, thank you. Your wife is neat. We appreciate that. What are you thankful for and why? And Trish, I'm going to ask you the same question as Robinson writes that. What are you thankful for and why, Trish?
I'm thankful for making it through the storm yesterday.
Oh, you guys had a storm.
Yes.
And how was that? Everybody okay?
We're good. It was just dark and scary and windy.
Wow. And you are South Carolina, my co-host. Wow. So, I know that I've never been down south, and I've been told about the storms that you guys have. Nothing like California. But I'm glad that everybody's okay. Who do you love and why? Robinson from California thinks their wife is neat. We appreciate you coming in and listening. We are live on Vibe Talk. My co-host and I are live to greet you there. And we're always open on that page as we do this podcast so that you can find us. The subject today that we're going to talk about is facing our lions this week, what you had to go through to face your challenges. Lines are open. We're asking the question, who do you love? Trish, who do you love? We are top 10. Go ahead.
I love my dad. I love him like a lot. Words can't describe how much I love my dad. And I love him because he's my dad. And because he goes to the ends of the earth for me and the rest of my siblings and his family. Like, he's an awesome dad. He's not perfect, but he's still awesome.
I appreciate that. I love being in love with the people that love me. I love being in love with the people who love me. Because every day they teach me something about myself. Every day is a possibility for me to affect lives. You know what else I love? I love learning about myself. And that's why at every end of the podcast we have, what did you learn and discover about yourself? Now this is not self-love in that we're narcissists. This is a respectful, healthy, recognizing yourself, getting to understand who you are, accepting yourself and all of your flaws, and loving yourself, getting to know yourself, becoming connected. The world is so busy trying to connect, and I think I say that a lot. The world is busy trying to connect with getting love and being loved. Getting love and being loved. Today we're going to talk about the struggle as we sit in our lion cages, our challenges of life, struggling to love ourselves. How many people struggle with that? I do.
I do.
Yeah. Before we go on, we have some thank yous. My first thank you is to Beth Wilson of Wisconsin. Thank you for liking our reels. I want to thank Christina Halle, who is my niece, all the way from London. She just moved over there. And I also want to thank my aunt, Mavis Kennedy, for liking our reels or our post. Trish, do you have anybody that you would like to thank?
Not today.
Okay. Thank you for being here. So far we have London, which I mentioned where my niece is. We also have Wisconsin, and then my aunt, Phoenix, Arizona. Thank you. Boy, those reels are very catchy, aren't they? People are really loving our reels that we are posting. They're really to touch hearts and motivate you to be able to love yourself. I did something different today because I really want you guys to get the point of why Vibe Talk is and what we talk about. So today we're going to talk about how to love ourselves and what we can do to help ourselves. How do you love yourself, Trish? How do you love yourself?
Respecting myself, taking care of myself.
How many people respect themselves? We're not asking statistically. We're just asking where I want you to think about it. Respecting yourself, respecting all that you are. A lot of people think negatively about themselves. Have you ever thought something negative about yourself as recent as this week? Anybody in the room? Or that is coming in the room?
I did.
What did you think negatively about yourself?
like it looks unattractive. That's what I thought.
I'm sorry, that last part? Very last part.
I said I thought I broke out too much, and I thought that it looks unattractive.
Okay, so you were having challenges with what you thought that your skin looked like. Did you resolve? Did you resolve that? Did you resolve it, or is it something you still are struggling with this week?
It's something I'm still struggling with.
Okay. And so, when we think about loving ourselves, we're talking about loving our whole selves. You know, maybe you weren't born with the most beautiful feet. Maybe I wasn't born with the most beautiful ears. But after all, those ears help me to hear. These ears, I should say. And those feet help you to walk. And I must say, haven't we heard a lot? For instance, the beautiful singing of the birds. Beautiful music. Some of us make music. Some of us play instruments. Some of us do both. What a world we would live in without my ears. My feet. Oh boy. My feet have walked in the mud. My feet have walked through the pavement. My feet have worn my shoes down. Boy. It's amazing what my feet have done. The path that they have created. Anybody get to where I'm trying to go? Appreciation. Appreciation for the things that we have. Oh boy, but we do take care of the things that we need to take care of. Self-care. Trish brought out about skin care. Many of us are into that. Many of us take baths versus showers versus baths. We do all kind of things to love ourselves, to take care of ourselves. But understand that loving yourself and caring for yourself are fitly united together. They're brother and sister. They're siblings to one another. Because you have to like yourself in order to care for yourself. Is that making sense to anyone that is listening? So we're going to talk about the challenges. Nothing is easy. You think about your past versus where you are now. You think about maybe a year ago versus your presence today, where you are. And so you look along the way of your path and you say, my, I have struggled. But you're here on this day of August 12th. August 12th, Friday. So guess what? You've made it. Now I want to talk about the picture in the background. Can everybody see it? Everybody have a good sight of the picture in the background? You know, those are some of my favorite candies. Unfortunately, we can't get them until the time of the year comes when everybody's thinking about love. You know, some of us think about love only one day a year. We're acknowledging the people that we love. Even the schools have set up that everyone in the classroom not forget about the people that they love. I watched an episode, I can't remember what it was, but I watched it, and the kid didn't want to he didn't want to give out Valentine's Day cards. Not because he was selfish, because some of the kids he didn't like. But now, while you are loving this day, being loved, do you take something for yourself? We're not talking about selfishly. Because many of us have things we don't like about ourselves, just as we take things and we don't like of someone else. But I'm asking the question, do you love yourself today? That's the question. Now think about what's written. If you can see in the background, you must learn to like yourself before you're taught to love yourself. See? When we are kids, we're struggling. And so we bring that struggle with us. Our parents who are responsible for raising us, they tell us all the things they like about us. You know, when we clean our room, we're praised for having a clean room. When we do our work at school, we're praised for being a good student. Those are all foundations of getting to like ourselves because someone notices. And the people who usually notice when we're the smallest, we're first introduced to our parents. Now, granted, some of you have not been so fortunate enough to be raised by your parents. We have situations like that. But now I ask you, have you been raised by people that have given you the foundations of liking yourself? Liking yourself. When my kids were little, the liking of themselves started with, how was your day? And if they said nothing, what did you learn in school today? Nothing. Conversations got flowing by me saying, oh, you mean to tell me that I dropped you off for 8 hours and you learned nothing? I'm going to have to go talk to your teacher. And they would laugh. And then I'd say, tell me what you really learned. And they'd come up with stuff, not by force. Why is that? Because I wanted them to see the value in their day, their worth. Trish, go ahead. Trish, I saw your button. Go ahead.
No. Ma'am? Oh. My mom says, since you're talking about self-love, she wants to read a quote from something about self-love.
I want her to. Go ahead.
You want to read it, Mom? Or you want me to read it? You want me to read it? Okay.
No, I want your mom to read it.
Mom, come on, you can read it. I'm not a good reader. Yes, you are.
We'll take it. We'll take it. They already hearing your voice, so come on.
They already hear it. Come on.
Let's get this.
Yes. It's okay, Mom. We all know the N word now. Narcissistic.
I have a hard time with that too.
Narcissistic. Okay.
That's all right. We get it. Good morning, Goth. Go ahead.
God wants you to love yourself too. Having a successful faith life is going to start with you learning to love yourself. Mm-hmm. This does not mean we are worshiping ourselves or being narcissistic.
Yeah.
Okay. God does not want us to go through our lives filled with hate, disappointment, or insecurities about ourselves.
Good morning. That was it?
Yes.
Yay! What a beautiful reading. Send me that, please, please. I love that.
I will.
That was great. And that's what I was trying to say, ladies and gentlemen. Power Ranger is calling in. Before we accept your call, please tell us where you're from and keep it relevant to our conversation. Good morning. Caller, good morning. We want to thank Trisha's mom for that. What a beautiful reminder for all of us. And that's exactly what I meant. Let's thank Trisha's mom. Power Ranger from Brunswick, Georgia. I had you on the line if you want to call back. Maybe there was a connection. Maybe there was a disconnect or something, but you're welcome to call back. There you are, 27 years old. Let's hear what he has to say about the question of the day. Trish, what is the question of the day as he's on the line, please? That's okay.
The question of the day is, who do you love?
Go ahead, Power Ranger fan.
Who do I love? That's a good question. I love men because I'm gay.
Okay. Go ahead. Go ahead. And what are you thankful for?
I thank for God, Jesus, and Lord.
Okay.
And the church.
Okay.
And I thank for my Bible.
Yeah. Me too. I love the Bible. And we want to thank you for your call. You are from Brunswick, Georgia. And
I thank for that I need to stay away from negative people.
absolutely. Absolutely.
Right.
Absolutely. And you said you love, who do you? Okay. Okay. Thank you so much, and we hope that you'll stay. Thank you for your call.
You're welcome.
And we hope you'll stay listening. Okay. All the way from Brunswick, Georgia. We are talking about loving yourself. We want to thank Trisha's mom for giving us that loving reminder that we are loved by our Creator. We're loved by Him. You know, for some reason, I could not get that through my head. A lot of us struggle with the love of ourselves. Not being narcissistic, but having a balanced view of ourselves. See, we pour out like a cup love. And that shows that we are capable of being loved. I could not accept that. I could not pour out the cup of love. Instead, I had a cup full of hate toward myself. Struggled facing my lions. Facing my lions. So if you don't believe me, today I have some reveals. But now, as you are struggling, or if you have struggled this week to love yourself, you didn't give up. You're here. Those of you who need to hear this message, I'm so glad that you have reached Friday. Friday is not the end of the week, or is the end of the week, I should say, but not the end of your life. It's the beginning for you to recognize that your struggles, your lions can be conquered. Have you asked yourself, why is it so easy for me to love other people, but yet not accept myself? Why am I riddled with a full glass of shame, shortcomings, past failures, poor decisions? What about that cup that overflows with love for positive qualities about yourself, about myself? Because I told you, the reveal of myself is that I hated myself. Now, we won't get into the scientific parts of our brain, but we all know that we have a brain, right? All of us, everybody. Self-love, being good enough. And by the way, to Trisha's mom, Mrs. Scott, you were good enough to read what you read. Thank you. Your voice is important. Never forget that. Had you not shared that, we would not be able to have heard your voice. Do realize and acknowledge you are important. What you have to say is important. Loving ourselves means to care about ourselves, care enough. We use those words, I love you. You hear people say it. We send emojis. We've had exercises where we have set the heart. When we see the heart, it represents love. How many times do you send a heart to someone in your day of texting? Trish? Approximately. This is an interactive question.
I'd say 25 times.
Yeah, a lot. Representing a lot, right? Yeah.
Yeah.
Have you sent one to yourself today?
No.
Go ahead and do that. I want everybody that is listening to send a heart to yourself today. Now, when we see hearts, just like we see in our podcast, because it's visual, you can see on the screen what's happening. It's being recorded, by the way. We send hearts. Hearts are a good thing. It means that we usually love something or like something. We send a heart that's a universal language of love. We don't have to say anything else. And we send them. But now I'm asking you to send one to yourself. Going back to our picture today, we see this candy one time a year. I love that candy. I like the little sweet messages. But I want to ask, why is it one time a year? And did you notice the messages that you can pick up for yourself? You sent the love button to yourself. We're going to do one more exercise. Don't hold me to it because I might figure out one along the way. Trish, your button light lit up. I want to be mindful of you. Go ahead.
I was going to say that this story is very comical. I had a friend on Valentine's Day. She would buy balloons, gift bags, and everything. And then everyone would ask her, "Oh, who's your Valentine?" And then, little do they know, she was like, "Oh no, I bought this for myself." I was like, "Girl, are you serious?" She said, "Yeah, I bought this for myself." And now that I think about it, I'm like, you know what? The reason why I couldn't see why she did that was because, like, I didn't think that I was the hype enough to, like, to give myself a gift like that. Like, gift myself. And then, yeah, so she, like, kind of inspired me. I was like, you know what? Let me try that.
Mm-hmm. Gift yourself with love. Thank you for that. And that was funny. And so we learn to gift ourselves with love. If we've been raised with loving parents, then you no doubt have come from love, so you know love. But did you know, ladies and gentlemen, that some of the most heartbroken people, some of the most damaged people have the most love? That's ironic. Some of the most, and let me rephrase that, because you're not damaged. People that have been abused, not all are abusers. They give the deepest love. They give the deepest love. That's why I love Vibe Talk too, because Vibe Talk is able to reveal to us, to yourselves, the type of person that you are. Love comes from deep within, which is another case of your being able to love. Just because someone hurt you does not mean that you're incapable of loving. Maybe you've listened to their voice, but now it's going to be time to listen to your voice and the love that you have for yourself. You ready for the second exercise? How many times do you hug people? We've talked about that a few times. It's easy to hug your mom, your dad, for the majority of us. It's easy to hug our dogs, our cats. Why? Because we love them unconditionally. You see how I attached that to a pet? I want you to think about that unconditional love that you have for your dog. Your dog, you leave your home and you leave your dog that you love in your home, and you go to work and you go out for the day, school or wherever you're going, and by gosh, you come home and that dog has made a mess of things in your house. He's got things everywhere. Your reaction to it is no doubt you are frustrated, if not angry, at that dog that you love so much. Now, are you ready to give that dog away? Kick him out? Of course not. Because after all, he's not going to help you, or she's not going to help you clean up the mess that they made, and they can't even give you the reason for why they did that. So you blame that dog and you say, that stupid dog, while cleaning up the mess. And you know what? After it's all said and done, you find yourself calming down, and your unconditional love for your animal begins to take over, because you forgot that that dog made a mistake or that cat made a mistake. I've seen it. For all you animal lovers, I've seen it. And you hug your dog. They've even made a day, hug your dog day, kiss your cat day. But human, why is it so hard for you to forgive yourself? To hug yourself. Hug yourself. I want everyone to hug yourself. See, because we gotta stop and think about that. We are not used to embracing ourselves because that's what you're doing. When you embrace yourself, you're saying, it's okay. It's okay to love you. It's okay to love myself. Because after all, the dog that you love, you just called it stupid. Not you, but I really did. But that's how you feel, right? You don't go and throw your pet away. The same as I've learned not to throw myself away. See, we're doing that to ourselves. We're throwing ourselves away because we've made mistakes. Even if we didn't mean to. We learn to compensate with our animals. But let's learn to compensate with ourselves. Does that make sense to anyone out there? What do you think, Trish?
I think that makes like more than enough sense. Because like you said, like if someone, not a pet, but like if a friend did something to you, you would be hurt, but still you'd be like, you know what, let's go to the mall later. You'll still say, let's go to the mall later. But when it comes to you, or for me, when it comes to me, I'm like, wow, you did this, and I'll beat myself up the whole entire day. And with other people, I get over it in like 10 minutes, and then just go on about my day. And I just have to realize, since I've been living with myself for a very long time, as long as I can remember, why can't I do the same for myself? Because, like, I should be my own best friend. So,
Thank you for that. Such empowerment. Have you guys hugged yourself yet, or did you stop dead in your tracks as if I asked you to do the unthinkable? Why do I say unthinkable? Because no one thinks to hug themselves, right? Instead, people get on their social medias and they start prancing around. I was watching somebody, because I like reels. And I was watching this famous celebrity's child, who, by the way, struggles with depression. The false sense of herself is shown by her posing. I'm a good reader of people. And mind you, ladies and gentlemen, I am by no means, hear me when I tell you this, I am by no means a palm reader, none of that spiritism stuff. None of it. When I say reading, I understand and I discern people. You're struggling with liking yourself, but yet you're posed up. Because someone has told you that you look great. And that's all good. But now, are you a believer in yourself? Because if you're a believer in yourself about your looking good, you don't have to go around and wear clothes half naked. Because you're confident in a blanket, if that's what you choose to wear. You don't have to expose or exploit yourself. You see that going on. So we know, okay, there's something going on here. Being confident of yourself means that you are assured that you're capable of receiving love and you're capable of giving love without all the extras. People will accept you just the way you are. I had to learn this, ladies and gentlemen. Now, here's the part of facing our lions in love, is that we struggle to face who we are. We struggle to face what we hate about ourselves. Come a little closer. I struggle to hate. I struggled with facing hating myself. I could give you 25 reasons of why I hated myself, but not one reason of why I loved myself. Struggling. If I were to put a list and say, tell me 5 good things about yourself versus 1 bad thing about yourself, which are you going to do more of? Well, I could tell you more reasons of why I don't like myself. See, we listen to the voice of other people and they validate what they like about us. You ever heard the saying, someone told her that she was cute, or someone told him that he was cute? How many of you have heard that saying?
I have.
And how do we know that? How do we reach that assumption?
Because how they're acting.
Yeah! And that's how I came to the conclusion about this famous celebrity's child. Now, if you took them in a room by themselves, they are probably the most broken people. Because someone glorified their outer beauty. So what's happened is you have that narcissist love. You don't have the balanced view of yourself. You might be pretty. You might be handsome. But people who are acting out like that, they are usually the most torn, the most broken. Underconfidence, struggling with themselves. Because someone told them they were all that in a bag of chips. Now let's remember, when we face our lions, we are facing ourselves. Many of you hate going to the mirror. You know that mirror, the soul of your mirror. Because the soul of your mirror tells you everything you do not like about yourself. The same as if I ask you how you were doing and you said, I'm fine. And the soul of your mirror whispers and says, you're not fine. So you're getting feedback from your soul of your mirror. It's telling you all the things you hate about yourself. Now you have to train it. You have to train your lion to tell you yourself. Because you are the lion or the lioness. It is you, yourself, and you. You have to train it. You have to treat it the way that you want to be treated. We can figure out the things that we hate instantaneously about ourselves. This question, who do you love? Many of you will call in and you might feel like you don't accept who you are. We're not here to accept who you are or who you aren't. We're not going to pass any judgment. So if you think that we're going to accept it or not, we're going to let you do the talking. A lot of you wait to see how we're going to react. And I think it's safe to say, Trish, with the last call? Did you feel like that? That because of what they said, they were waiting for a reaction from us?
Yes, I felt that.
Yeah. And then they laughed because of the insecurity about it?
Yeah, I got that.
Yeah. You see, I told you I'm a good reader of people. No magic here. And yet, it was full of insecurity. Because if you say you're whatever you are, you choose that. You have a right to choose whatever you are. Do you accept it? Not do other people accept it. Do you accept it? We're not about politics. We're about getting into the feeling. So if you're coming with shame, you are struggling with facing your lion. Your lions this week are you. You are the lion. When you really can examine your own insecurity, it's going to require something of you. You've heard the words, come close. What's your reaction when you hear me say that, come close? Trish, what do you think? What's your reaction?
To come closer.
You have to listen, right?
Listen.
Yeah, come closer and listen. You were right. There's no wrong or right answer. So I'm asking you to come in, come examine, come look. So you come and look. You see all the big things, but it's going to take you to really come close. To notice the smallest ounce of love. That's the size of an ant. If I ask you to come and look at the ant, what are some of the things that you would have to do in order to come and look at the ant? Anybody? Trish? What do you think? What are some of the things?
Just look closer to look at the ant because the ant is small.
Yeah. So it might require you to stoop, bend, right? Because you can't see the ant from where I was looking. And by the way, I was looking down. So I say to yourself, those little things that are ant-like qualities to you, get beside them, stoop down. Notice them, acknowledge them, accept those things. Why am I telling you that? Because I want to tell you this. That hatred for myself was going to stay there until I learned to recognize that there was something worthy about me to love. Something worthy. We all struggle to find the insatiable parts of loving ourselves. And for some of us, it is an endless struggle. I didn't know why I didn't love myself at one time. And then through talking, going through counseling, I find out. The more I talked, the more I discovered. That's why we use the method in here, because I know what worked for me. And ladies and gentlemen, lioness and lions, let me tell you something. What may work for me may not work for you. I got that part. But understand that talking out your feelings helps you to discover something about yourself that nobody else knows but you. Difficult. Learning to love yourself. Learning to like yourself. Let's be taught through our struggle to strength to learn to like ourselves first. Learning to like ourselves. Now, we could take a poll in here to ask people in here, do you truly love yourself? What do you guys think the answer would be? If we took a poll like that, what would the people say? What do you think, Trish?
They'd say, the first thing I think they'd say is like, I don't know.
Yeah. Or yes. And if they're uncertain, they might say something like this. Not really happy with myself. But I want to tell you something. It's not really that hard. It's not really that hard. We talked about social media. We talked about the people that put themselves all over social media. It's an ending of self. You know, the narcissistic kind of self. That kind of love. That is a false sense of love because only you see the reflection of you. But now, what about it? What about a glimpse of something? A glimpse of all the things that you want to be. All the things that not only do you want to be, but that you need to be for yourself. Social media has been set up for you and I to compare ourselves to outside source. Of what and of whom, you say? You look at other people, and do you find yourself saying, boy, that's a handsome guy? Can I ask you something? Do you think that guy knew he was handsome before he started getting on TikTok doing his exercise with his shirt off? Do you think he knew he was handsome? What do you think, Trish?
Yes.
That's why it went viral. Because in order to get the like, he's going to do that every day. He's going to do something with his shirt off because he's got muscles. Somebody told him he was really something. Look at him. And so you have men that compare themselves to Mr. TikTok guy that went viral because he's got his shirt off and he shows his muscles. Maybe your 10-year-old or your 12-year-old is not formed to have those muscles yet because their body is still maturing, so they're going to do something like that guy. That guy who did what? Pumped himself up. But now if I took that guy in a room and started asking him about, hey, why are you doing that? What is the first thing they say? Who knows? Who can help? Who can help us? Who knows? I took him into a room and said, hey, you're going pretty viral. You're going viral. What's up with that? I have to put this down for a while, guys. That guy probably has the most insecurities. That's not true in all cases. Because he's getting 1,000 views because he took his shirt off. I want to tell you the healthy parts of yourself is to look for approval within yourself. Before TikTok got here, there wasn't things like that. that push us. And not all social media content is bad. But that's what we're looking to, guys. We're looking to social media to improve ourselves. But I want you to start hearing your own voice. How about everyone say, I like myself? And I'll start. I like myself. That was so easy. What about you, Trish?
I like myself.
Yeah. See, I hadn't got to that part of myself for a very long time. You see, I had to crawl through mud to love myself. No matter what anybody said to me, I could not see it. I could not see the ants overflowing in my cup to love myself. Remember, I told you about the ant? Even in the smallest thing, we're using metaphors. But now, what I understood through counseling, and that's why I recommend it if you need it, counseling, if you need it, we have resources. I understood the need that I could be my own cheerleader. Why is that? Because I could tell myself and cheer myself on every day to find something, look closely, stoop down, examine the things I like about myself, even if it's one per day. Trish, go ahead.
I can really see that, like, for example, if no one's gonna wake you up, you have to wake yourself up, you know? If no one's gonna make you breakfast and you're hungry, you have to get up and make your own breakfast. You have to be your own alarm clock sometimes.
I love it.
And like, that's very important because the willpower starts within you. Like, that's how you can conquer things when you have no support from other people.
Absolutely. Because you know that guy in the mirror that he was on TikTok? Remember the scenario I just gave you guys? Well, what if he started losing his followers? Is he going to get on there, start showing his muscles? He's going to wonder what's wrong with him. He's going to lose his place because you see his reasons were that he wanted to be accepted and approved by others. See, before he started the TikTok, he already knew what he wanted to become viral and to have other people like me. But what you didn't know is that he didn't love himself. I say people like that really need to do the footwork. The footwork. Must do work. So, Trish, thank you for that. That was very powerful. Now we're going to talk about the self-love, accepting yourself, looking at yourself with all of your insecurities, all of your mistakes, and putting a light on them. You ever tried walking around in the dark? How many of you have ever walked around in the dark?
I did last night.
Me? I walk around in the dark. So, picture this. You're walking around in the dark and you stub your toe. You say, ouch! Does it really hurt? You just get back in bed, Or do you say turn on the light and let me see what I've done? Which do you do?
I say turn the light on, let me see what happens.
Yeah, I want to see the damage. I want to see what I caused. What's wrong? How much damage? Is it bleeding? Did I break something? We need the light, guys. Turn your light on. Have insight as to your insecurity. If a voice has told you to feel insecure about yourself, don't listen to that voice. Listen to the voice that's from within yourself. Find things. Even if you have to stoop down. Go ahead, Trish.
It's just, I didn't see it like that. Like, for example, like, if I get a cut, I see my cut as insecurity. Oh my goodness, what do people see that? But when I get a cut, I want to look at it. I want to see, oh, what does it look like? I don't hide from it. I don't say,
Yeah.
I don't want to see that.
Yeah. We don't just say, well, I'll ignore it.
But yeah, it's just like, I've never seen it like that before. And it's like my insecurities, I try so hard to hide from it. I try to pretend like I don't have them. I try to say like it's not there. But like, I see now, like, facing my insecurities, like, how can I get over them if I don't face them, if I don't look at it, you know?
Mm-hmm. You know, ants. Ants are probably one of the, flies too, but we're going to talk about the ants. And at the end of this podcast, I want you to think about the ant and what significance does it have in your life. We're going back to the ants. Ants are so annoying. My goodness. It's almost as if you don't spray before summer or winter gets here, you're going to be invaded by the ants. Have you guys ever had that problem? You're invaded by the ants.
Yes, like, oh my goodness, we have a bunch of ant piles in our backyard.
Yeah. But now, as annoying as they are, they're the busiest creatures because they're industrial. One time I did a self-experiment because I love photography. That's what I do for a living. I noticed an ant, and I came a little closer to it. And lo and behold, it was carrying a piece of food that was twice its size. I have a picture of it. I had to get down on the ground to take that. Do you think that ant was insignificant? After all, where was it going to take that food? Of course, to the family. The ant doesn't know that we think they're insignificant. Nobody has told the ant that they're insignificant. But now because you've looked at it a little closer, you say, wow, that ant is industrious. In fact, the Bible talks about the industriousness of the ant. They're working hard. They're not saying, hey, everybody, look at me. I'm insignificant. They're working with purpose. And there's an army of them in your backyard, sometime in your kitchen, sometime in your cereal boxes. They annoy me. And they belong in their proper place. But let's not forget, as tiny as they are living with purpose. Now, the lesson for you in this podcast today is to understand how you may see yourself like the ant. After all, they were created The ants are all part of God's creation. As little as they are, it is an amazing fact. So you and I today can learn the lesson from the ants. We must truly accept ourselves for what we are. We must truly step up and turn the light on, the lights of insight. Insight, INSIGHT, insight. Good morning, Stony. What would you like to say to Stony? Baloney.
Good morning, Stony. What state are you listening from? And what are you thankful for and why?
Thank you. So we are accepting. We know that ants exist. They only annoy us when they come in and stormtroop our homes. So I want you to think about the ants and the relationship of how you can apply this in your life. When you are looking in the mirror, do you say thank you to you? One of my favorite things that I've ever taught my children was to say please and thank you. My grandson is doing that now. Please and thank you. He knows instantaneously how to get something. Please and thank you. Please and thank you. Do you now sit before your mirror? Your mirror, the one that I tell you about, that physical mirror, and thank your hand. Have you thanked your hand lately? Literally. Look into your hand right now. You don't have any hands, look in your feet. Because it's interesting how if we didn't have any hands, we can use our feet. Remember the lady that painted with her feet because she didn't have any hands? If you were fortunate enough to have hands, I want you to say thank you, hands, for the many wonderful things that you've done. Thank you. You get to write, you get to color, you get to pick up flowers, you get to do so many amazing things. Their accomplishment. Root them for yourself, say them aloud, all of your accomplishments, and in a way that you believe it, because no matter how many times I've taught you that, you must believe it. Now, how about yourself when it comes to the way you do things? Isn't the golden rule to treat others the way you want to be treated? Well, I ask yourself, your body, your mind, your heart, and the mirror of your soul, how do you treat thyself? Because if you're expecting for somebody to treat you better than you treat yourself, I say to you with a question mark and an exclamation point. Because maybe it is that you don't love yourself, you're struggling to love yourself. But yet you say, I don't know how, but I love him and I love her. Oh, I love them to death. No. I say, learn to love yourself to living. People have hated themselves so much that they've destroyed themselves literally. They've committed suicide because they hate themselves. I almost was there. I'm a survivor of that. And no matter how many times somebody told me to love myself because I am all of whatever they thought, I had to have the mindset and to struggle through the mindset of changing that around to accept myself. Turning the light on. Turning the light on. Thank you. You want to be happy? You want to get out of that lion cage? See, we never think about the challenges to like ourselves or love ourselves. Because the automatic answer is, of course I like myself. Didn't you see my last post on Instagram? What I ate, what I wore, what I talked about, what I. Yeah, I saw I in your post. But now we're talking about really rooting for yourself when the lights are off. You can still say, I love myself. Even when there's nobody there but me. Treat yourself better. Learn to behave in a way that when you care for yourself, other people know that you care about yourself. Because you know what they say? Wow, they really care about themselves. See, we want people to praise us for caring about ourselves, but they don't need to. Did you care about yourself? If you cared about yourself, you're here, you got up, it's Friday. You've made it from Monday to Friday. You've loved yourself. You've struggled. But now your strength is to look back and say, how did I get here? Think about that. How do you want to love yourself? Treat yourself with love before asking for it from anyone else. Come a little closer, just like you need to come to that ant, and hear me out. You must love yourself before you can love anyone else. From the foundation of when you were a little tiny baby, that was your parents' job to teach you love and acceptance. When they commended you for homework, when they commended you for picking up your clothes, finishing the food on your plate, listening to your teacher, being well behaved. All of those things are the founding of why you like yourself. So why is it that we're still in the lion cages trying to love ourselves, struggling to love ourselves? There's songs about it, to love ourselves, and yet we are still struggling just to love ourselves. You know that part about teaching us to love ourselves? When we were first born, it was our parents' responsibility, and I want to apologize. Come a little closer. I want to deeply apologize. If you weren't as fortunate enough to have loving parents that were supposed to teach you all of these things, I want you to forgive yourself, because maybe that has caused some trauma in your life because your parents may not have loved you the way that you needed to be loved. But look at you. You're an amazing, unique individual. You've grown up, and now it's time to teach yourself. We've learned about liking ourselves. We're learning all about that. But I want to teach you to love yourself. And why am I saying that? Trish, go ahead. Go ahead, baby. Just speak right up.
I was gonna say, like you said about how our parents taught us how to take care of ourselves, basically.
Mm-hmm.
And it's a transition, when you separate from your parents, when you go on to your own life, it's like from transitioning from I'm doing it because my mom and my dad told me to I'm doing it for myself. I gotta do it because I need to do it,
Mm-hmm. Thank you for that. Thank you so much for those powerful statements. That's why we have a co-host in here, because it's not a one-man show or a one-woman show. I'm so proud. Thank you, Trish. Why are we always facing our lions with minimizing the good things about ourselves? Why are we muting our voices for the good things we've done? And I'm not talking about bragging, because some of us love to brag about what we do. Had a friend. This is no lie. I make my mother laugh about this all the time. You know, I'm a food critic. And yes, I can cook. I am listen, you do not want to invite me over and have me taste anything. And if you do, it better be good food. Good morning, is it Anuki? Good morning. Good morning, good morning. Welcome. Trish, what do you want to say to Anuki?
Good morning, Anunnaki. What day are you listening from? And what are you thankful for and why?
Yeah, what are you thankful for and why? Thank you so much for joining us. So I'm a food critic, right? For those of you who are listening. So one time, I went to a friend's house. They had their friends there. And I knew this person because they were related to the host. And they said, hey, I want you to come and try something. It was a banana pudding. And I said, okay. Not thinking that they were going to ask me how it tastes. Just, they were going to share something and I wouldn't have to say anything. And they said, how does it taste? Oh, no, they said before they served me up a spoon, this is called Ain't Your Mama's Pudding. And I tasted it, and my first reaction was, it sure ain't. And everybody in the room laughed. Now, that wasn't planned for me to do that. Why am I saying this? Because it helps you to understand that there are things about us, characterizations about us that people love. People have never let me forget that. Loving ourselves. Loving ourselves. See, because I was not expecting that reaction because that's who I am. That's just part of me. Guess what? Am I going to get invited to go and eat that banana pudding? What do you think, Trish? Is that person going to invite me to their house and make banana pudding for me?
I don't think so.
Why? Why? Why do you think they're never going to do that again?
Because of that reaction. Because it ain't your mama's pudding. It's not your mama's pudding.
Yeah. And by my reaction, I didn't like it. I didn't even love it. I'm going to leave it right there.
I thought I was bad because when I go in public places, I smell my food before I eat it. I smell the cup. I smell everything.
Want some help for that? Yes, we can laugh at ourselves. When we can laugh at ourselves and all of our faults, you know, we have to find humor in life. I didn't think that was funny, but someone helped me to see the humor in what I said. They said, you know, do you always have to tell the truth? Well, what do you want me to do? Lie to myself? Because some of you are lying to yourself. You know what? You say you love yourself. But I want to ask you something. Go look at your Instagram social medias. Some of you even lie and say you don't have social media when you really do. I don't know why you're doing that. I don't know. But I want you to have insight to yourself. I want you to have knowledge about yourself. No one knows you better than you know yourself, and you're getting to know yourself when you come in Vibe Talk. There's a lesson in that pudding scenario. Ain't your mama's pudding? There's a lesson in that for all of us. I don't know what your lesson is, but somebody saw the lesson of truth. And that it was funny because it was a instant reaction. Not even to get a laugh. But yet everybody in the room laughed. Because my reaction was, it sure ain't my mama's pudding. Because my mom knows how to make that. She's known for knowing how to make that. So, what are the things we love about ourselves? Why is it so hard again? Facing those things. We've learned that. How many of you have seen the signs of not loving yourself? We're going to talk about that in a wrap. How many of you have had to be somebody else instead of being your true person? Anytime, anywhere. How many of you have had to be someone else? You weren't feeling free to be who you really are. Anybody had any experience with that?
I have.
Couldn't be yourself, couldn't say what you wanted to say. Are we still struggling with that when we face our challenge to be who we really are? How many of you have struggled with not being free to express your ideas? Your ideas. Anybody?
Me.
You have? I want to say to you, Lioness, Trish, your ideas in Vibe Talk, from the videos to the artwork, your ideas are so phenomenal. I like your ideas. That's why I always bug you on the weekends. I literally bug her on the weekends if I could share something that I found that was personal to me, something that I really needed. You're phenomenal. So keep expressing yourselves freely. People are afraid. Just like the man who called in earlier. And I hope that he comes and listens to this because I have a message for you. I felt your voice fear, and I felt your voice non-acceptant. But yet, you were literally asking for acceptance without saying it. Your insecurity in your laugh told me that you were unable to express yourself. And I realized you weren't laughing at us. You were uneasy about the acceptance of what you claim to be. I'm going to leave that right there. How many of you are not honest with yourself about your values? Anybody in here? Me? I just told you the story of me and how I hated myself. I could not be honest. I couldn't. If you told me you loved me, I would doubt it and I would fight that lion. If you were in a cage with me and you were trying to nuzzle up to me, I would fight you to your death. Remember some time ago, I think it was last week, where I talked about the person hugging me? See, I would assume took you to your death if you tried to do that to me years ago. Why? Because I didn't love myself. So I wasn't honest. I couldn't accept what people saw in me. How many of you are not true to your inner nature, yourself? You're not true to how you really feel. You want to do this, but you did this instead. It's like saying, gee, I used to ask my kids when they were little, when we go on family vacation, do you want to go to Disneyland or Magic Mountain? And they'd always say Magic Mountain. I don't know why they did that. But my inner self said, I want to really go to Disneyland. But I went on their family vacations because it's not always all about me. But in this case, we have to be honest with ourselves. And we're talking about why we don't love ourselves. What are the reasons? What could the reasons be? Looking inside of yourself, remember you must have that light on. Looking at yourself. The more I talked about it, the more that I was helped to understand why I didn't love myself. And then one day the light turned on for me to realize, oh, that's why. That's why. See, being able to have emotional intelligence instead of saying, I don't know. Taught to love yourself. Understanding yourself and understanding what love is. The acceptance of yourself. That is your foundation of happiness. Understanding yourself. Have you faced your lions? Do you know what it truly means to like you to learn to like you before you are taught to love yourself? That, ladies and gentlemen, has been a real struggle of mine through the years, through my journey of life. Go ahead, Trish.
And I feel like it's very important to make your own mindset before you listen to other people, and then they make your own mindset. Mm-hmm. As crazy as it sounds, that makes a lot of sense.
Yeah.
And like now, I did the exact opposite. I let people make my mindset, and now I'm recreating my own mindset, recreating my own mind and how I feel about me. Because if you ask me, like, why don't you like yourself then? Why don't you love yourself? I would have just said, I just don't. And then I wouldn't have a reason. Now I realized the reason was because of what other people told me, what other people said about me. Yes. And now I'm recreating like my mindset. I'm recreating how I actually feel about me and things like that.
I love that, Trish. Thank you so much. Very heartfelt. And that's what we have to learn to do, to recreate ourselves, because this is a hard lion for so many of us. Not loving ourselves. How many of you spend enough time with yourselves? Quality time. I don't mean when you go to sleep. I'm talking about being awake. Many people have entourages. You ever notice people that always around a lot of people or other people to validate them? How many of you have ever noticed that if you're not one yourself? And if you're one of those people who like a large amount of people, we're not going to judge you. That's not what it's about. We're here to ask the question, do you spend enough time with yourself, by yourself, to hear yourself laugh, to hear yourself think, to enjoy your company and value your company. I promise you, ladies and gentlemen, because of medical things that I'm dealing with, I have probably spent more time this week and last week by myself. Because I can't be around any stress. So, and to hear myself laugh, or to be able to think about something without my thinking being veered off because someone else came to me with something, literally, in my personal life. So I enjoy being in my company. And that's very honest. Enjoy. Now, my jobs do not allow me to be with myself as much as I want to. These are things you don't like about yourself. If you're not spending enough time with yourself, then that could possibly mean you don't like to be alone. I hear people say that. Get to know yourself. That's one of the ways to get to know yourself. And so now, where are you? As opposed to the lion cage, your challenge of loving yourself. That is the question. I want to thank Trish for being my co-host all week. Another great week. Friday. We got through it to get to it. We've struggled this week. We've struggled in our loves and our hates. We've struggled. We've lost people that we knew. We lost people that we didn't know. Lost relationships, new beginnings. Babies have been born. There's a lot of lions to face out there. Every day it's a lion. Don't give up. Teach yourself love. And if you have a lot of love and you say, I'm a loving person, make sure your cup overfills in love for yourself. You know how they say, endless, bottomless? Be the bottomless, overflowing in love, keeping yourself in mind. Because after all, you must learn that in order to give that gift of love. I want to thank Trisha's mom for being a supporter of Vibe Talk. Your voice was heard. Thank you so much for that poem. I love it. If you send it to me, I definitely will post it to Vibe Talk's page. Thank you for all of your extraordinary stories because they belong to you. Learn to love yourself. But first, learn to like yourself. Trish, what is our closeout question for the day?
What have you learned or discovered about yourself today? And what was your experience like here today?
I learned that love is teachable. You know, this image and thinking about this, love is teachable, guys. Remember how I said that love, some of the people with the most broken hearts are the most loving people? And you go, wow, where did they learn all that love from? That was their survival. Even though they were broken and bruised, that was their survival. To just love. I can learn each day. I can be inspired from people because I talk with the broken people. Some who have not learned to love themselves, but they're giving and they love others. I want to know what that kind of love is. So I'm a work in progress, an art in progress, I should say. Tomorrow, I want to make mention before we close, is that tomorrow I have an art person coming to my home. It's already going to be paid for, so Trish, if you want to be online with us, you can. She's going to be teaching us how to draw a wine glass with grapes. So that should be fun. And it will happen 2 o'clock my time. And it'll be fun. So if you want to join, just come on over. It's part of our Vibe Talk Wellness. And we're going to continue our wellness on Wednesday by being on camera. So if any of you are here, you're welcome to join. We're going to be doing some wellness things, wellness exercise. Right now, we're working on the petals of life. We've had so many projects, so just keep them coming. Trish, excellent. You are our star in that. Trisha has done every assignment. Just about, right, Trish?
Yeah, just about.
Yeah. And so I like them because when we do the reels, we put them together so you can see what we're doing. And that's why you got the background of all of our information with our posts today. Thank you. This entire week has been, it started out sad because I was really sad that Olivia Newton-John had passed away, but I know that that's part of life for now. And I know that there's a resurrection hope that awaits. I don't know her, and you don't have to know somebody to feel for someone else. Because I always liked her. Like her music. I remember having a poster. I used to have all kind of posters. Back then, that's what we did as kids. Michael Jackson was on that wall. Olivia Newton-John, John Travolta. And lo and behold, those two got together in Greece. So that's where my start came from. We know that you're hurting out there. We know that you're struggling to strength. Keep struggling to strength. Keep facing your lions, whatever it is. Trish, go ahead. My question is to you. What did you learn about yourself? And what was your experience? My experience here was wonderful today. Accomplished. Go ahead, Trish.
What I learned about myself today is that just as quick as I am to forgive other people, I should be that quick to forgive myself and not be so hard on myself.
Mm-hmm.
And my experience here today, it was very heartfelt because I've dealt with struggled with self-love, and being on this journey, that topic just like hit very hard, and that was a big lion for me to face for ever since I was 14 years old. And so yeah, I'm feeling great now. So
I love it. You have powerfully impacted me this week. I just gotta tell you that. Thank you for that. Some of us have the wake-up calls. We need to wake ourselves up. And for me, the hardest part is forgiving yourself. Forgiving yourself for whatever happened in your life. Forgiving yourself is the beginning of healing. Because if you don't forgive yourself, like I talked about, if you've been fortunate enough to be raised by parents, some of us have different circumstances. We understand that. But your survival is you got through it without your parents. And when you were raised into the adult that you are. Please forgive yourself. Stop hating yourself because you didn't have the childhood that you wanted. We talked about the inner child. Forgive yourself for maybe people not loving you the way you needed to be loved. Now you can tell yourself to love you the way you need to be and not depend on others. Is it airy or eerie? Welcome. What state are you listening in from? Airy. What state? This is Vibe Talk, South Dakota. Thank you. We've been talking about loving yourself is to know yourself. You must learn to like yourself before you are taught to love yourself. What's the question of the day? Real quick, because we're out of time. We're on Facebook Live.
The question of the day is, who do you love?
Erie, who do you love from South Dakota? Who do you love? And thank you for joining us. Francasa. Thank you for joining. Erie, who do you love? Don't understand that. Can you please translate? Please. Francasa, who do you love? Okay. See, we understand the struggle. Now, we will be back on Monday. Monday is Think Up Our Motivation Monday. Start with the healing of your forgiveness of yourself. I find that a lot of people don't forgive themselves. A lot more people than have ever been in this room. They've been taught to hate themselves due to their circumstances. You are not your past. Love yourself because you've made it. You've been challenged. You've struggled to your strength. That is what makes you a survivor. You will face lions. And you've done that. If you got through Monday, you came through Tuesday, you went through Wednesday to get to Thursday, and you were strengthened by Friday. You've made it. You are now your own survival guide. Vibe Talk is here Monday through Friday. We're live. We're on Facebook. Please come join us if you haven't seen or heard from us. We will be pre-recording when we're not live. Wait for us, because we're usually live. Our direct connect for your questions, you can answer them at any time. We welcome voicemail and text as well. 661-503-8993. Trish, do you have any concluding comments? Because you are important to me and to the rest of us who join our podcast. We want to hear your thoughts, your concluding comments.
Just as unconditional love is to give to other people, you can give it to yourself unconditionally right back. And let your self-love cup overflow as big as the Kool-Aid Man jar, and just let it overflow for you as you do for other people, because you deserve that. You do deserve it, and you are worth it. You can have that.
You deserve it and you're worth it. We care about every person that comes in here. We know a lot of you come in here, you're trying to be funny, but you might really learn something. So many other people have. We want to thank all of you for listening, for contributing, for thumbing up our videos. We know that you're listening. We thank you. We hope that we're inspiring you, motivating you, and keeping positive. We laugh a lot. We hope that we've shared with you something that has really given you true light to yourself, to your feelings, and we hope that we're making this the safest place for you to be, in your feelings. You've been with Vibe Talk all week. We thank you. We don't stop, so we ask you not to stop facing your lions. Thank you, everybody. And on the Facebook Live, I'm sorry I had to put the phone down to talk to you guys because it was not charged. I went to bed last night, and I apologize that you're looking at a black screen. Thanks, everybody. We will see you right out of here with Trisha's outro. Trisha's outro. Just 1 second. Thanks, everybody. I wish you to face your lions, whatever it is. It's coming. Stay with me. There it is. Have a good day, everybody. Okay. Yeah. Okay. Let's see. I'm trying, guys. Here we are. Thanks, everybody.